Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're taking a look at the Jetco Conqueror Class 2 crawler tire. Now, today you might have an easier time finding these under the name Powerhobby Conqueror, but it is in fact the same tire. Powerhobby is now just the US distributor for Jetco. They are still the exact same tire. They still even say Jetco on the sidewall. They're just going to be listed as Powerhobby Conquerors on Powerhobby's website or eBay. The Conqueror is a chevron tread design that the lug is very similar to a Hyrax, just with a chevron tread. So it's kind of a unique looking tire, and if memory serves correctly, hang on, I've got myself an axle breaker. I had to do a quick obstacle repair. The stupid boom racing hustlers broke my obstacle when they dismounted off of it. So I had to repair, and it's still not right. Hang on. Okay. So where were we? Jetco Conquerors. Fuck. Sorry about that, guys. I try to clean up my language for the sake of, I know there might be kids that watch these at some point, but boom racing, really, I hate that company. I like their Pro Build wheels, although they're overpriced, but they're not a good company. All right. I shouldn't say they're not a good company. Before I go on, I'll take that back. They're not a bad company. They have crappy tires. All right. Let's look at the Conquerors, and we're rolling out already. I don't know what's going on here. The Conqueror might not be as good as I remember. We rolled off the obstacle just sitting on the side of it. We are running 3D printed inserts in these tires today. I can't remember if they're Three Brothers or SL3DRC. I think that they're SL3DRC, which are just as good as Three Brothers in my experience. But definitely having some issues getting onto this obstacle. Part of which is because the GD hustlers tore up the entrance. But part of it is the Conquerors are sliding a lot to the side. Come on. All right. Is that because they slide? They do. That rear end is sliding out on the side hill. Not uncommon with a chevron lug design, but that's pretty extreme. Let's see if we can correct and reposition on the side hill, and we can't. And we rolled halfway down the hill. Well, I thought I remembered Jetco Conquerors being better than these are looking already. Admittedly, it's been a couple years since I've driven them, which that in and of itself tells you, okay, wind's trying to blow the camera over. That wind died down for a little bit, but now it's back. Tells you a little bit in and of itself that they never found their place on their permanent spot on a vehicle in my fleet. So we're not dealing with sidewall collapse. The 3D printed inserts are holding up the sidewalls. What's happening is they're just sliding sideways. And whenever I reposition, now we're dealing with that ledge there. A little ledge right under where that crack is, where that tire, that's actually a pretty good 1.5 inch little lip. 1.5 little lip. Sideways slide. Okay. Turn up. Okay, let's slid off sideways again. So this side hill is challenging because there's a lot of divots in the surface. It's one of the things that makes it challenging. And when a tire can't hold on the side hill and it slides sideways, a lot of times the tire it'll slide into one of those divots and then it'll hook. And the momentum of the rig sliding, once that tire hooks up, when it hits that divot, just kind of carries it over. And that's what's happening right now. We're going to give the Conqueror one more chance on Decide Hill. And then we're going to call it the biggest fail that we've seen. Even the Idiot Hustler did better than this. These are not doing good at all. I'm struggling off camera, and loose surface, I'm struggling getting it back to on the obstacle because I'm not able to position the tire. Yeah, not a good showing, really. Which, here's something that might frustrate some people who don't know that these are actual Jetco tires. If you, let's say you have the Powerhobby Armor, or you've seen a video on that Powerhobby Armor, like my review of the Powerhobby Armor, they did really good. The Powerhobby, or the Jetco Conqueror, is sold as the Powerhobby Conqueror, and they do put Jetco in the name. I think it says Powerhobby Conqueror by Jetco or something like that. But the lug design on those tires is not dissimilar. The armors are chevroned just like the Conquerors are. The actual lug itself is similar. And so you might think, well, the armors did really good. I'll get some Conquerors. So far, judging from the side hill performance, I would say hold off just a second, because they might have a similar looking tire from the same company, or seemingly the same company, but so far we are not even similar on performance. I'm going to call this side hilling not good. This is going to get probably like a 2 or a 3. Oh, it's going to get a 2 on side hill. It's just not good. And if this is the first video that you've watched of mine, and you think that the side hill performance here has something to do with the rig or the driver, I'm not going to claim that I'm the best driver out there, or that this is the most capable rig out there. This is a enduro trail walker, largely, with a few light modifications, but this rig does this side hill all the time. This driver, me, does this side hill all the time. And you'll just have to take my word. These tires are the problem here. Coming up to our second obstacle now, wet or dry. Today, it is wet. We approach through the water, getting those tires nice and wet, and up onto the obstacle. Now, the goal here is to be able to go either straight up or go across and hook the lug on. Yeah, there we go. That's not bad. So forward drive is pretty good. Even when wet, those did a pretty good job. Now I've got a mechanical hang up on the front links, which that happens on this obstacle. This is not really anything to do with the tire, other than you need to have the wheel speed to get over. I need both hands, and I'm trying to hold the camera from the wind blowing it over right now. I mean, it's, ooh, that's not the tire. That's driver. That's driver. So that was a pass. But as always with this obstacle, we're going to come around for a second pass to make sure the first time wasn't a fluke. Again, approaching through the water, getting those tires nice and oiled up. And not as good of an entrance onto the obstacle, but that does not appear to be a problem for the Conquerors, as we're able to conquer that obstacle without issue. Now, something has happened to my exit. I mentioned that in a couple other videos. I need to rebuild it. I keep forgetting to. So I remember this tire being pretty decent. And while, especially as I get older, my memory is not perfect, it's still pretty good. Now, I don't think I crawled this exact course with it because I hadn't discovered this yet when I bought these tires. Had these tires for quite a while. But they're intriguing with the chevroned Hyrax lug because, well, that's what people always said about the Hyrax is, well, it just needs to be chevroned. And I hope you can realize in my videos that there is a healthy dose of sarcasm sometimes. Coming up here, tires are still fairly wet. Gonna see if we can pull up onto this nice and slow like we like. If the rear tires can hook the edge of that lip and push us up. Sliding back. A lot of sideways movement, a lot of shuttling side to side. The tire's still wet, could be impacting some of this. But what we like to see from a capable tire is the rear lug is able to hook the lip of that rock and just kind of push us up onto it. The Conqueror is not quite able to do it. They're looking like they want to. There we go. Little bit of a bump, not a big one. Just had to take it at the right angle. And now we deal with side hilling again as we exit the obstacle. But fortunately not too steep of a side hill. And the wind has completely died down. We'll see how long this lasts. This is very nice. And as I'm talking, I can feel the breeze picking back up. It's died down a lot in the last 30 minutes, though, from what it has been all day. The sun has come out. The sun hasn't really been out all day, so I'm hoping that the rest of the afternoon and evening today, it is 3:12 right now. I'm hoping that the rest of the afternoon is kind of like this. And I'm hoping that this is a good sign for tomorrow, because I will be out here tomorrow as well. And I have to tell you, as much as I love this hobby, and as much as I've actually been enjoying making these videos and doing these tire reviews, it has been miserable today with that wind. Hasn't been cold, hasn't really been, nasty out. It's just windy. And I mean, I'm not talking about 15 mile an hour winds. I'm talking about 25 to 30 mile an hour steady winds with 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts. I had my tailgate open on my truck, and I didn't have my cover latched, and it blew the cover up open. I have a hard cover on the bed of my truck that I put on there sometimes, and it blew that open because I didn't have it latched. No issues getting off that obstacle on the side hill. Conquerors have been good since we got off that first side hill. They just didn't like that first obstacle. And these other side hills I haven't seen significant issues with. It's just, this is why we do more than one obstacle. Because that first obstacle, we get an idea of side hilling and forward drive on that obstacle. And the entrance of that obstacle kind of gives us the idea how the lug conforms to the surface of a rock. So if I had to only do one obstacle, it would probably be the one I would do, because it kind of gives us the closest. Oop, camera just about blew over. Here comes the wind again. It's a good 20, 30 mile an hour breeze. It just picks up like that. It went from nothing to gusting. But that first obstacle gets us the closest to testing every aspect of a tire, even briefly. But the side hill is pretty gnarly. It's not that steep. As I've said in other videos, the average, it varies, but it's average of about 40 degrees. But the pocketing on that surface really does introduce some challenges. Now this obstacle, what we like to see, there goes the camera. God, this wind pisses me off. What we like to see is the tire be able to just walk up here. But this is another obstacle that the hustlers kind of tore up. That rock underneath the passenger rear tire was kind of wedged down into the ground, and it's not always needed. Not every tire needs it, but it's kind of the easy line, if you will, to get on this obstacle. like to be able to do it without it. Show me something, Conquerors. Again, driving one-handed, holding the camera up because the stupid wind has come back with a vengeance. I shouldn't have talked about how nice it was. Like I said, it disappears and now we're blowing again at 30 miles an hour. Bump. Nope. Okay, hold on. Okay. Kind of tried to repair the obstacle. There's a couple of these obstacles that I need to go get some mud out of the bottom of the lake. And there we go. And kind of inset some of the rocks on the bottom of them. It would be really nice if I didn't have to sit here and hold the camera up. Now I've taken this at too shallow of an angle, which might present some problems, especially with what we've seen with the side hill performance. That rear bumper is now hooked. Really need both hands, but I can't. I let go for a minute. And see if I can find a more stable surface. All right, that's gonna roll. And we're off. That was largely driver error. I took that too shallow. I'm gonna reset. I've been giving that slipper a workout today. Gonna have to do a good once-over of this rig when I'm done here. So one of the problems that I'm having with the Conqueror is it loses its forward drive. Like, it seems like it has really good forward drive, and then it just falls off. It slips sideways a lot. So if you're not really careful, you get cattywampus on your obstacles. Good news, the wind continues to pick up even more and make me more miserable. So here, we're hoping that the rear end will grip and allow us to slide down slowly with a controlled descent. Here comes the wind. I'm pausing because I need both hands here and I'm wanting to catch the camera if it falls. There we go. Those slid a little quicker than I like, but they didn't completely fall off. But what I like to see is the rear grip a little bit longer than that before they let go, or that happens. So we can we can normally set this back down. Come on, there we go. A little more of the same, testing the same thing here. Get that front tire hooked just on the edge of that and just walk it down. I believe that this is the 6th or 7th set of tires that I've tested today. I've got enough daylight to really probably get through the rest of the tires that I brought. But I'm exhausted. This wind, doing this in the wind all day has been exhausting. I know every video that I've shot, so every video that you're going to watch over the next several weeks, I'm going to be complaining about the wind in it. But man, this is just dumb. Dumb wind. All right, this is the hardest obstacle on the course for most tires, and definitely the most technical. That showed a little promise if we can get back up on it. The bottom of the obstacle is getting washed out again, needs to be repaired. But we can get up on it, and then we need to reposition, but we're sliding back. Very common with a chevron lug is slip back. Was even an issue with the Armors. They just had enough forward drive to overcome it. We will see if the Conquerors do or not. They're not showing me too much promise once they actually get up on here. But some tires just need a little bump, a little wheel speed. But it's shooting me the wrong way. There we go, there we go. Okay. Well, come on. No, 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 no. You had it, you had it. Come on. Come on, get back over there. You had it. No directionality. I cannot steer at all. I have to take it nice and slow. If I unhook that passenger side front at all, it's just going to slip back. Technically, that's a pass, but it wasn't beautiful. But that's okay. It's not the only ugly thing out here today. Now, if we can get up here, the second half of this obstacle is just coming back down, which is not nearly as challenging as going up. But if you don't do it right, you roll out. It requires technical driving, but it also requires decent grip from your front tires, and we're able to do that successfully. Overall, the Conquerors are not doing bad. They're not quite as good as I remember. And for some reason, I just had in my head that these were really good tires, not just decent tires. But it makes sense thinking back on it. You know, they never earned themselves a place on a rig here. We got about 43 crawlers. So if a tire is really good, it's probably going to have a permanent home. I guess my memory of these just isn't accurate. Which, don't get me wrong, it might sound like I'm talking like they're a bad tire. They did do poorly on the first side hill obstacle, but they've done pretty well on everything since then. Entrance to this obstacle I'm having a little trouble with, but it also needs to be rebuilt. I'm dealing with right there, that's not tire, that's lack of tire being able to touch the surface due to the axle getting hung up on a rock on the entryway that has slipped. So now, steep rock. Oh, I forgot the angle gauge again. I need to bring the angle gauge and see how the incline on this rock is. I'm guessing that it's, I don't even know. I don't want to guess. I'm apparently not that good at guessing angles. I guess I wasn't really far off on the side hill. I bet this is about 50 degrees. Not extreme, but decent. And the Conqueror is able to do it. Able to conquer that obstacle as well. Okay. I'm going to pause here and reset the entrance of this obstacle while I'm thinking about it. Now we see how the Conquerors do in more of a trail setting. The first obstacle is a pretty gnarly bump due to the ground being washed out underneath. The rear tire is not even touching the ground. Not the fault of the tire. It's pretty good. A lot of loose soil here, loose rocks. Not bad, but not great. Powerhobby armors are still beating the Conquerors. Okay, see if we can set our camera down. And right up and over that with not very much drama. And if you saw the Hustler video, that should give you an idea on just how bad the Hustlers are. This is how an even decent tire should be able to handle this obstacle. And last but not least, we come up to the loose gravel hill climb. 40% throttle applied. See how they do. Making slow progress. Or hung up something. Just digging a hole. Okay. Haven't gone full throttle yet. Still at 40%. Yeah, the Conqueror is able to do this at 40%, which is about what we like to see. So overall, while the Conquerors weren't quite as impressive as I seem to remember them to be, that was pretty good. I believe these are about $50 for a set of 4. They come with a open cell single stage foam. Again, I'm running a, I think, SL3D 3D printed insert in these. But $50 for the performance they offer isn't terrible. It is worth mentioning, I am crawling on sandstone, as I mention in every video. But the reason that I want to make a point of pointing that out in every video is because if you're watching my videos or any video, any review of a tire, and you might purchase a tire based off of that video, it's important to understand the climate and the terrain that that person is driving on. Because not all terrain is the same, not all climates are the same. Tires are going to perform differently in different climates. They're going to perform differently on different surfaces. Inserts matter, temperature matters, surface matters. There's a lot of things that factor in. So I like to try to be open about the environment that I crawl in so that you can make a decision for yourself based off of the terrain that you crawl and what you're after. So overall, the Jetco Conqueror, Powerhobby Conqueror, it's a decent tire. I mean, it's in the, it's going to be right now in the top 10 because it's above a 4, 5 being the highest. So each obstacle is worth 5 points, and there are 10 obstacles, and we average them out. I don't have the final score for this tire yet. Again, I will be calculating that on the spot in the future. As of now, it will be linked in the spreadsheet below. But these are probably going to be somewhere around a 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. So pretty decent tire, not the best out there. But here you can really get a look at that lug and see that it's very similar to a Hyrax design. It's just chevroned, a little bit, redesign of it, but very Hyrax-esque. And honestly, it performs about as well as a Hyrax. Not great, not terrible, decent all-around tire. Until next time, everybody, have a good day.